Hello, lovely people. My name is Adrian, and today I wanted to talk about the challenge of transitions for autistic people. I've been wanting to make this video since I made that one about change, honestly, but I haven't had the motivation to get all my thoughts together about what I want to say until now. Plus, I was more excited to talk about those other videos that I made. So, transitions. Switching from one activity to the next, or one mode to the next, like going from home mode to work mode, for example. Why does it feel so hard? Why does it take us so much more time? Well, this might be where a lot of people would start talking about monotropism as a way to explain it. The tendency to focus all of your attention on one or a small number of things at any given time, while neglecting or not even taking notice of anything else. It's like tunnel vision. You zero in on one thing and nothing else seems to matter. And then people might also talk about hyperfocus when talking about transitions. This ability to be completely absorbed in something and needing to stay with it, so much so that you don't even recognize your need to say, like, use the bathroom, drink water, eat something, or maybe you notice a little bit at some point, but you just absolutely cannot pull yourself away. That's what it feels like. Like, for me, I'll often recognize that I have to pee at some point, but if I don't feel like I'm at a good stopping or pausing point with whatever I'm doing, like, I will just continue and probably forget about it again for a while until it's like super urgent. But it seems to go away for a while when I get like, when I'm like, oh, I recognize that, but like, I'm doing this because it's like the desire to keep doing whatever you're doing is just way too strong, you know? And I'm also gonna say with certain things, there just needs to be this feeling of completion with a thing, and that can make it so that it's hard to move on to something else. Like, if you don't feel like something has been completed, like, you just like need a feeling of completion, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would say that was probably like in school, the only area where it might have been apparent that I had a difficulty with transitions is like if I didn't feel like something was complete. Because if you're late diagnosed, you may think about the struggle with transitions and autism and think it doesn't apply to you if you're only thinking about it in the context of going from one school activity to the next, for example. Like, I don't know, like going from sitting on the carpet and being read to having to move back to the desk to move on to the next subject. And as an adult too, if you're thinking like, well, I don't really have trouble moving from task to task, well, I'm at work, so I don't really struggle with transitions. But what about when you were coming home from school? Or like when you were going from home to school, and then now switching in and out of work mode? What about getting in and out of the shower? What about trying to pull yourself away from a TV show, or going from reading a book to getting ready to go to bed? You know, like, you might have been fine switching between tasks in school or at work because you've got all those different things categorized like under a greater umbrella of, school mode and work mode. But getting back to the point that I was making, because that was kind of like a long explanation. Yeah, the only trouble I might have had back in school might have been when I wasn't able to finish something before we needed to move on. And I was never a disruptive kid or anything, but I did internally always find it very upsetting. I think especially if it was something like, if we were like coloring something, because I feel like I would really take my time with that, so I wouldn't be as fast as other kids most of the time. So like, if they're like, it's time to move on, you can finish this at home, or you can finish it tomorrow, whatever, like, you might catch me still trying to work on it. as we're moving on. And because I just wanted to feel, I just wanted to be done with it. Like I was in the zone. And it's like, who knows when I'm going to be in the zone again? I was in the zone, you know what I'm saying? Or like later, in later years when teachers would give you time to work on your homework, like I'd be really trying to finish my homework before the end of the class so I wouldn't have to think about it. But then it's like, or like at least get to a point where, like if there were different sections of whatever work I was doing, at least feel it would be, you know, somewhat satisfying if I at least finished a section of it. That would have made it feel easier. Because I feel like there was a class in high school, I just thought about this just now, where I'd often have time to work on it, and sometimes like I would, like the bell would ring and I'd still be sat there like, I'm almost done with this, like let me just finish it. But it's like once we have our focus on something, it's all consuming, and to be pulled out of it is very alarming, very distressing, very irritating, very dysregulating. Like if I'm interrupted by some outside force, I usually feel quite viscerally angry, to be honest. But I'm a very kind person, and also the type of person to internalize everything, and also the type of person who's been through certain trauma that made me pretty afraid of upsetting other people with my emotions. So it's like I've always just had to bottle up these feelings in these situations. And you know, masking plays a role in this as well. You know, can't let people know how much this upsets me, because then they'll think I'm insane. They'll be like, you're too sensitive, you're too dramatic. So when you have these situations where you're forced to transition into something else, it can take a long time to calm yourself back down and actually transition into whatever the next thing is. And once you're an adult, or like even younger ages, in those like areas where you had a bit more control over things, or maybe worked out some sort of system for yourself, it might not seem apparent because you've just come up with these ways to make those transitions easier. So you might be like, well, I don't struggle with transitions because, you know, I just do X, Y, and Z. But I've noticed that once I became an adult and was out of school, and especially after not working a job where I don't have control of the hours, I just began taking my time with things. I feel like the only reason I got through these things when I was younger is because there were actually so many things I just did not allow myself to fully focus on. I think a lot of high masking autistic people develop this hypervigilance to keep themselves safe, and then don't allow themselves to like go into these hyper-focus modes when they know that other people are around and that they could be interrupted. When I was younger, I was running on straight anxiety, just like pure adrenaline and anxiety, like pure fight or flight mode all the time, except those moments when I was allowed to get lost in my special interests. Like, you know, I feel like, God, I always think when like after school was the best times for me, because I'd be home alone. It was like my time, and I could just be. And I miss that because I don't even have that now. Like, I live with people and they're always home, so it's like, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I'm still working on the effects of this, like going through that in my school years of like always being on edge and feeling like I couldn't ever relax, and you always had to be hyper vigilant, and I couldn't allow myself to focus the way that I would naturally focus and like zone in on one thing, because it's like you could get in trouble. It's like people get mad at you for not, you know, paying attention, for ignoring them, and for, you know, not getting certain things done because you're too preoccupied with one thing. So it's like it just when you're trying to avoid that kind of pain, you know, you put yourself you really do put yourself in just like this state of fight or flight all the time, and it's not good for you. It's so not good for you. But like, now that I have that freedom of not having to be woken up by an alarm every day, and not having to be certain places at certain times all the time, I just take my time. Like, I get up slow and I get ready slow. You know, I move a lot slower than I used to in the mornings, because the only reason I could get right out of bed, like I said, is because I was running on pure anxiety. So that was the way I was able to do it. But you know, even now, for some reason, like specifically when I get to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm in the bathroom and I'm gonna do those things like brush my teeth, wash my face, fix my hair, that I still feel this anxiety inside of me. Like, I get anxious, especially like doing my hair, because there's a lot of things with that in my brain not wanting to take all those steps, and like the sensory issues of it all, and the stress and the amount of time that it takes and all that. But it's like, yeah, even though I know that I don't need to be rushing, like I don't have to be leaving for school by a certain time, like there's nobody pressuring me, like I still feel that in me. Which, you know, it takes time to work through those things. But like, I just take deep breaths to get myself through it. But it's difficult for me to make that transition from like being up in the morning and chilling in my room, just sipping my coffee, to actually like, okay, let me like do the things to get ready and get dressed and ready to leave the house. Waking up has always been hard for me, but for those school days, like I said, again, the only reason I could hop right out of bed is because I was allowing myself to be entirely controlled by anxiety. But sometimes it would be so bad that I would have actual anxiety attacks, and then I would have to stop until I was able to breathe again. Yeah, not fun times. But now that I have the freedom, what I naturally do is very slowly get out of bed and slowly transition into making my coffee and doing all those other things that I do every morning. It takes time for me to move from one thing to the next. And you know, part of me still does try to shame myself for it, because I'm like, I should be out of the house by now, I should be, you know, being productive, whatever. And I feel bad for needing like a good few hours to be able to leave my house. But it's all about learning to be more kind and gentle with yourself, and just accepting that that's what you need, and you can plan accordingly for how much time you're going to need for different things. And like I mentioned showers earlier, that seems to be something a lot of us have difficulty with. You know, for some it's a lot to do with the sensory issues, of course, but I feel like for me, even more than that, it's the transitions. Because like, really, the shower's not so bad when I'm in it, right? It's the before and after, like getting in and getting out. Like, yes, it's still kind of the sensory issues, because I hate getting out of the shower because of the, you know, sensation of being wet and cold. It's not pleasant at all, especially in wintertime. Like, oh, it's really rough. It's really rough. Then I hate taking showers when my house is cold, because it's like I live in Florida, so it doesn't get like freezing, so it's like but it's cold when you get out of the shower, and you know, we're not using any heat, so it's just like however cold it is outside in the house. And when you're wet, it's cold, so it's harder then. But you know, the way that because I'm usually out doing Instacart, so for me, I'm like, okay, I've made the routine for myself that right when I get home, I take a shower. And then so when I don't do that, if I don't shower immediately when I get home, then it gets harder and harder. The more time passes, the harder it is. Because then it's like I start doing something else and then I can't stop myself from doing whatever that is. And it's like, I should probably shower now. But then I'm very resistant and I'm like, okay, just like 5 more minutes and then I'll take a shower. And then I still don't feel like it. And I'm like, okay, just 5 more minutes. And it just, the longer it goes, the harder it gets. And I start feeling bad about myself because I'm like, oh, I just wasted all this time. I mean, because let's be honest, the thing that I'm probably doing is like being on my phone, like watching TikTok videos or YouTube videos or like playing a game on my phone maybe. You know, sometimes other things, but a lot of times that's what it is, just being real, just being honest, you know, because I feel less bad when it's like something different and not just me being addicted to my cell phone. Like if I'm busy researching a topic that I've been really into at the moment, or when I'm actually engaging in some kind of creative project, when I'm actually creating something instead of just endless consumption. But I mean, those things still get in the way, of course, at times, like physically taking care of myself or adult responsibilities that we have to do. And you know, it's actually sad because I feel like one of those reasons I don't allow myself to enjoy a lot of things that I used to, because of course I've been conditioned to care more about making sure I have my bills paid and so it's like part of me knows that because I can get lost in things, there's a very real chance that I won't do other things that I really need to do and take care of as an adult, which is so irritating because, you know, now I'm actually making the effort to override this programming, because doing things we love in life and following our joy is actually so important. Like, it's actually the most important and the best thing that you could do for yourself, because when you allow yourself to follow your joy and have fun, things work out so much better for you, and you actually have more energy to do things that you have to do, because it's like that's the kind of thing that is improving your quality of life and makes you want to actually be alive. And you know, this is also part of the unmasking process, allowing yourself to get lost in things again, just accepting wherever the hyper focus might take you. And I mean, occasionally the hyper focus is very beneficial for getting those like adult tasks done too, you know, because every once in a while I've been able to hyper focus on something that I really needed to do that I felt was really difficult to start, but then I've been able to just like, you know. But it's okay to get lost in something others might perceive as not really having a value. It does though. Like I'm telling you, following your passions really does lead to living your dream life. When you follow that spark within you, the universe just starts lining things up and things just start working out, and you don't have to worry about how things are going to work out, because they just do. Working with yourself and allowing yourself to move through transitions more slowly and organizing tasks in a way that is more smooth and connected will allow you to have more energy and keep you regulated. I am actually done rambling now, so thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you've been enjoying my other videos as well. It really helps me out. Comment any of your thoughts down below in the comment section, and if you would like to support me even more, I've left a link to my Ko-fi down in the description. You can make a donation there if you would like. No pressure. The support is just very helpful. I'm doing my best to create a source of income for myself that doesn't feel like it's killing me. So I just really, really appreciate all the help that I can get while I'm still building this platform. Again, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.